Hello and welcome to MalChava Cuisine with me, Miss Naomi Mbungu. In today's video, I will be showing you guys how to make jackfish, also known as Thomson, and also Nkovi, which is kale greens in a peanut butter sauce. And also as a staple dish, we will also have this, or I made this actually, with cassava bread or cassava dough, known as KWANGA or Shikwanger. For today's recipe, we will be needing the following ingredients: 2 bags of kale, jackfish, 1 onion, 3 to 4 spring onions, 5 garlic cloves, palm oil, chopped tomato, and also some peanut butter. This recipe also, we will be using some dried fish, also known as mbisi ya kukauka. You can also make this recipe with makaya, but also with Thomson. But today we're going to use mbisi ya kukauka. First thing is first, I'm going to place my dried fish on mbisi ya kukauka in a bowl of warm water, and I've added a pinch of salt for that to soften up our dried fish. And wash the kale or my kale greens. I wash this under cold tap of water. You can do this before chopping it or after, it's completely optional. I purchased my kale in a bag, okay? I bought this in the supermarket for £1 per bag, and I used 2 bags for this as I was cooking this for my family. You can also purchase this fresh as well, and it's just the same procedure. You can either chop it before washing it, or wash it before chopping it actually. So as you can see here, I've scrunched it all up together, similar to the recipe I did for the spinach and the tilapia, and I'm going to cut it into smaller chunks actually, so it'll be easier for myself to cook, because kale is a wonderful vegetable to cook, but it is crunchy, so we need to ensure that we do chop it up in a good size for it to cook well. In a medium pot, over a medium to low heat, I'm going to place in 3 cups of water to steam the kale. We're going to steam the kale first before cooking it, because as I mentioned beforehand, kale is a crunchy vegetable, so we have to allow this to soften before we make it for the sauce, for the peanut butter sauce. After cooking this for 15 minutes over a medium to low heat, you can see the difference in the color compared to the way it was before. Once you get that dark green color throughout the whole of the kale in the pot, that shows that it's cooked. What I did next is I drained it in a sieve under a cold tap again if you want to rinse it, and then we're going to go ahead onto cooking the kale. In a food processor, add in 1 chopped onion, and then we're going to add in our spring onions as well. And then I'm going to add in half a cup of water and allow this to mix well, and we will use this to begin to make our base for our peanut butter stew. Now we're going to pour over the blended vegetables, and I pour that back into the pot, the same pot I used to boil the kale. Pour that all in and give it a good mix, and allow this to be on a low heat. We're going to build up our heat gradually as we go along with the cooking process. I would highly recommend that you continue to use the same pot that you used to boil the kale in to make the peanut butter sauce as well. Now mixing well all the blended vegetables with the kale, and then we're going to add in 3 Maggi Cubes and 1 tomato Maggi Cube into the vegetable mixture. Into the kale mixture, I'm then going to add in half a can of chopped tomatoes and mix well together. And I also added in my seasonings as well, which I showed previously, the Maggi Cubes, which is the tomato Maggi, and also the normal Maggi Cubes, and mix well together, followed by 1 tablespoon of jumbo all-purpose seasoning, and we're going to mix that all well together again. Also followed by adding in a tablespoon of grated nutmeg. I like to use the fresh nutmeg, but it's completely optional. You can also buy the pre-grated nutmeg as well, just the same flavour. Then going to add in my dried smoked fish, also known as mbisi ya kukauka, into my kale mixture, and I'm going to give this a good mix as well. And I'm going to allow this to sit for at least 5 minutes or so before I add in my peanut butter. Now for the peanut butter, I always use smooth peanut butter, not the one that's crunchy, because we don't want to eat some crunchy peanut butter. That's not very nice. So we're going to use the smooth peanut butter, and I added in, to be very honest with you, 3.5 large tablespoons of peanut butter, or even 4. So 3 to 4 heaped spoons of peanut butter. There it goes. As you can see, I'm putting that in, and as I mentioned, it's on a low heat because we're going to build up our heat gradually. The reason why I tend to put this bit last, or the peanut butter last, is peanut butter burns quickly. So I put this towards the end of the cooking process whilst the kale is much softened up, okay? So I've added in the spoons of the peanut butter. Then after this, I'm going to add in my palm oil. I am now going to use my authentic palm oil, which I used in my madesu recipe as well. I'm going to add in on average around 3 tablespoons of palm oil into the Nkovi mixture, and I'm not going to stir the pot. I'm not going to stir the mixture, and I'm going to add in half a cup of water, and I'm going to allow this to simmer on a medium heat for 40 minutes, and you will see the results with me without mixing it actually. So when you make the recipe as such, whether it's fumbwa or Nkovi, allow the peanut butter to spread itself naturally in the pot, so you don't need to mix it. After 40 minutes of cooking time, this is how the Nkovi should look like, or our kale peanut butter sauce should look like with our smoked dried fish. And here it is, guys. Here is our Nkovi, well done, well cooked. As you can see, a bit of the tomato, you can see the kale with the peanut butter, and also with the smoked dried fish. Now we're going to go on to the next stage to see how I made our Thomson, which is what I had to the side with the Nkovi. I'm going to show you guys how I clean my Thomson. So here I have my jackfish, also known as Thomson, with a sharp pair of kitchen scissors. I'm going to cut off the tail, and I'm going to dispose of this and place this into a plastic bag, which I'm going to throw later away. As you can see, I've cut off the tail, and I'm going to cut off the gills and all of the outside things of the fish as well. So here we go, the gills are going off, and I'm going to take that off, dispose of that. And I'm also going to do the same on the other side as well. After removing all of the outside bits of the fish, I am now going to remove this tough scale, which is on the tail of the fish. I would recommend that you use a sharp pair of knives and also wear gloves, which I didn't, I do apologize. So I'm going to remove that bit from the Thomson on both sides. Please ensure, if you're going to make this fish for your friends, guests or family, that you clean it thoroughly, because if you don't clean it properly, it does give off a funny smell, which is not very nice. So I'm going to do my best, as I'm doing in this video, to show you guys how I clean it thoroughly as well. Now I'm going to dissect the fish down the middle, and we're going to remove the inside intestines of the fish. So dissect it, or do a nice line all the way down towards the tail or the bottom of the fish, on both sides as well, towards the head of the fish, right in the middle, as you can see what I'm doing with a sharp knife. So now, as you can see, a bit of the inside of the fish, this is the bit that we do not eat. I'm saying this in the sense that if you leave this inside a Thomson whilst you cook it, it will give off a nasty smell. So we're going to take off the insides from the head of the fish. We'll pull it off, as I am doing. Here we go, nearly there. So I'm doing this gradually for you guys to see how you should clean it. So you should pull it all off. As you can see, all of the insides of the fish has come off, and we're going to dispose of this because we don't eat that. So when you're cleaning the fish, I would recommend that you have a plastic bag to the side for you to put all of the insides or the intestines or the dirt from the fish inside that bag. and I would recommend that you dispose of that bag straight away, because if you do leave it in your house overnight, it will give off a bad smell, which is not nice as well. So with a sharp knife, clean the fish. So you can see there's a bit of a dark skin inside, which is the blood of the fish, which is completely normal. So you will be able to grate that off with the knife and do some slits as well, as I always do with my fish, as you've seen in most of my fish videos. So we're going to dissect that to the side outside as well. The reason why we do this is when you do season the fish, for the flavour to go inside of the flesh of the fish as well. So under a cold tap of water, clean the fish, as you can see that I'm doing. We want to make sure that there is no more blood residue or any of that dark skin inside of the fish. So you can clean this with some cold water and some lemon as well. Once the jackfish has been washed thoroughly, I'm going to place this in a large bowl and pour over some lemon juice, some fresh lemon juice. This lemon juice will act as our flavour enhancer, whilst we're going to add in our flavourings for the jackfish. So pour this over on the fish on both sides, and we're going to proceed to add in our flavourings. I'm then going to pour 2 tablespoons of jumbo all-purpose seasoning over the jackfish on both sides, and I'm going to do this process twice for the fish. I'm going to add it on the first side, then turn it over again and do it on the second side, then do the same thing again. I'm going to do this twice. In a small mixing bowl, I've added in 2 tablespoons of chopped tomato and 3 tablespoons of tomato puree mixed with chili powder. I'm going to then pour this over the fish and put this inside the fish individually as well. This is to add in an extra flavour for the fish and act also as a flavour enhancement, and also to give it that nice rich colour whilst we will cook this or grill this. I like to use tomato because it softens the fish, doesn't make the fish too dry, and even when you do store it after cooking it, it does taste as if it was just made on the same day. So I would highly recommend that if you would follow this recipe and use this to make Thomson, I'm sure you will not feel as if I've made this up for the tomato. I'm sure you'll probably inbox me and say, Naomi, you know what? Thank you for this tip for the tomato. It's really, really helpful. So I'm going to pour this over the fish and mix this well. To season the Thomson, I like to crush 1 Maggi cube inside each fish. So I've got 1 Maggi cube inside this fish. I've crushed it and I'm spreading it evenly with a spoon. So I'm going to do one Maggi cube for the inside and also 1 Maggi cube for the outside of the fish as well. So where I've put the slit on the fish, I'm going to insert that for it to have that flavour on the flesh. So this is how I tend to season my Thomson. 1 Maggi cube for the inside and also 1 Maggi cube for the outside, followed by a tablespoon of mixed herbs and also paprika on each side of the fish. And once this is done, I'm going to allow this to marinate either overnight or for 2 hours on the same day. Once marinated, I place the jackfish and Thomson into the grill and allow this to cook for 10 minutes on each side or until well done. To make the garnish for the fish, I place in half a chopped onion into a little bit of oil over a small pot, so a tablespoon of oil, and I've allowed this to saute a bit, followed by adding in 1 tablespoon of mixed herbs, and I'm going to allow this to infuse with the onions. And also I'm then going to add in some Maggi cube and also a tablespoon of blended Scotch bonnets. This is going to act as our garnish, which we're going to place on top of the fish once it has been cooked. I then added in 2 tablespoons of water for it to make a little bit of a sauce that we're going to use to place over our fish. So this is a true Congolese style way of making Thomson. Always have a garnish of onions or even peppers to put on top of your fish as well. And here we have it, guys. Our Nkovi, our Thomson is all ready and done. So this is the finished product and how I garnished it with our onions that we sauteed. And here we have it with KWANGA. I had it to the side of KWANGA and it tastes delicious. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I do apologize for the delay of uploading this video. So I'm back now and up and running again, so I'm going to do my best to upload as much videos as possible. Please don't forget to leave your feedback. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and also on Twitter. and you'll find MalChava Cuisine there. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for much more videos to come. Until next time, thank you very much for watching MalChava Cuisine with Miss Naomi Mbungu.